And I'm rolling.
All right, 31.3. All right, so Lance, I'm going to cite your buddy, Ben Shapiro, who's this conservative commentator about Flynn and the rest of it,
Okay.
the possible, Russia connection to... He says that this Flynn thing may turn out to be relatively nothing pertinent to Trump himself, or it could mean that Trump is deep in it, and we just have to wait and see how the investigation goes. Which I've been saying all along. You say that I say, that Trump's deep into this deal, and I've been saying, well, let's just wait and see.
You told me there were mountains of evidence about 6 months ago.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff.
I remember because there was a visual you gave with it. Mountains of evidence.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, but whether any of it is, like you like to say, well, with Watergate, there was a crime. There was a break-in.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Trump thing, there may just be a lot of, icky stuff that no one part of which is so illegal or so damning that it will prompt an entirely Republican Congress to act on it, to do anything about it. He may be able to skate. But the deal is that we kind of have to wait and see.
Yeah, that is what Ben Shapiro says. He says we don't know enough about what is going to be said. We really don't. And so I'm reluctant to talk about it, but I favor this theory. This is what I think we do know. And that is that it looks like Mueller is using procedural issues in order to try to work his way up the chain to get Trump. So what he's doing is he's getting people, he's interviewing people. He's getting people to go in and interview people associated with Trump, and in the hope that he'll catch them on something that they don't remember or they contradict themselves, and then he can say, "Well, we got you lying."
Yeah, but that's how the FBI works.
But that's not.
But Martha Stewart didn't go to prison for insider trading. She went to prison for lying about it.
Well, it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair in that case. It's not fair now. In other words, if the FBI came in here and they kept me in a room for 10 hours, they could get me on something procedurally. And then after that, they say, "Oh, you contradicted yourself." They say, "Listen, you want to rat out Rick?" And I'd say, "Well, of course, I'd love to." And then they'd get you, and they'd keep you in a room for 10 hours, and then they'd get you to make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that seems...
And then they'd say, "You want to rat out Camille?" So that's how this is, to me, this is all sick, what they're doing.
Well, I
It
don't
is
know.
not
I mean...
the purpose of one part of government to be trying to finagle another part of government into making a mistake. If they don't like Trump, beat him at the ballot box. Don't try to do this tricky shit.
Or you could say that Mueller is using leverage to find out exactly what the deal is.
Yeah, but again, if this thing he got Mueller on, unless he got Flynn to agree to this because there's something worse that Flynn did.
Well, hold on. Flynn did a lot of stuff that
Had something to do with Turkey, getting some sort of lobbying from Turkey.
There's like a good half dozen things that Flynn did that were illegal.
Well, one of the things that Mueller did was he threatened to go after his son.
Yeah, but I guess maybe his son did. But anyway, Flynn did a lot of bad stuff. The only reason that Flynn is allowed to...
We don't know.
No, we do know because a bunch of Flynn stuff came out.
Yeah, but literally, we don't know. We know that we only know one thing, that he lied to the FBI about whether he spoke to a Russian official.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
he
we
also
know.
well,
That's
what
all we're
he,
sure.
He also was in the pay of the government of Turkey when he wrote and he was also working for the White House when he wrote a pro-Turkey or a pro-policy.
He was working for the Obama White House.
Not at this point. Yeah, Obama fired him.
No, Trump fired him.
No, Obama fired him too. He got fired by both.
Okay. The point is that if I don't like trying to turn people on procedural issues. I want to see something bad. And so far, I'm not
yeah,
seeing
well,
it.
no, he did a bunch of other stuff, and
Okay,
he's
but
allowed to.
I want to see Trump do something bad. That's what I'm waiting for.
But
Okay, well-
but what does it have to do with collusion?
There's none of this has so far anything to do with collusion. Camille, you asked the pertinent question.
Yeah.
None of it does, and further, none of it will lead to impeachment. Because
Well,
you have to have the Republican Congress go along with it, and they're not going to go along with any of this.
Yeah, so I kind of agree that it would, it was the Congress that would have impeached Nixon had Nixon not resigned was, I think, controlled by the Democrats.
Correct.
So it's a different situation. But the deal is, it's still a wait and see situation. where-
Okay, it is. It's a wait and see. You're
All right, so let's move on to the next thing, which
All
is,
right.
I finally saw Get Out, which is the Jordan Peele movie.
Yeah, this is going to be a spoiler, because you have to tell people what happens in the film in order to talk about.
Well, no,
why
let's talk about it. Let's give it this much. Like,
Well, you have to spoil it. You have to
it
say-
has an African American, it has a black hero, and he has a white girlfriend, and he goes.
Well, tell us it's a spoiler. Spoiler alert.
No spoiler. He
Well,
goes.
there is a spoiler.
Well, but we don't have to give it. He goes to visit his white girlfriend's family down south somewhere. I don't think they ever say exactly where. And they appear to be a very liberal and welcoming family, but things also seem to be off about them. He gets a little creeped out by the whole deal. And we can go from there. We don't have to give away any plot points.
No, we do. We do. But that's all right. We can say this is a spoiler. If you ever intend to see this film, don't listen to the next 2 minutes of our conversation. What happens is, it turns out that
Well, then don't give the whole deal. Just it turns out that the white people are evil.
okay, but they're evil in all the most bizarre, racist ways that the craziest possible fantasy of a black person could be. Which would be funny if it was actually a funny movie. But it isn't. It's like if you want to do a film,
Well, it's not madcap. It's mostly,
there were no laughs.
well, it's mostly a horror movie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if a white person had done this film about black people, about every conceivable prejudice you could ever imagine about black people, he would be in prison right now. They would burn his house down. He'd never eat lunch in the town again. The film would never have been made. But because it was made by black people about white people, everyone thinks it's just marvelous.
Yeah,
Wait, there's more.
No, but wait, let me
there's
just
a
say what you-
consequence.
you
There's a consequence.
You
to
think this is going to get white people beaten up?
Yes, that is my point. That is the point. Thank you for reminding me of the point I was right about to make.
Is he like?
I don't think it matters. I think that there has been an unstated hope among tens of millions of people in the country, but that somehow the pressures of the office would make him somehow not be president anymore. But yeah, he seems to get squirrelier and squirrelier in some ways, but not in such a way that it looks like he'll be forced from office in the near future.
Blacks?
Well, the latest hubbub was him calling Senator Warren Pocahontas again.
No,
at the
there's
ceremony.
there's newer stuff. He was tweeting ultra right wing nationalist,
Yeah, I saw them.
anti.
I saw them, and I saw the speech where he called Senator Warren Pocahontas, and I think both of them were fine. I saw the speech, and it was perfectly reasonable. Most people only heard this one clip taken out of context where he makes fun of Warren. I actually listened to the whole awards ceremony that went on for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
it was fine. It was just a little break, a little levity in the middle of giving a very serious and heartfelt honor to these code talkers. I mean, it's amazing how the media works. to make this sort of offhanded little quip of his
Yeah.
that Jack Kennedy might have said about Nixon. And they turn it into the whole thing when really it was a very moving ceremony.
Yeah, it was weirdly out of
Did
place.
Did you see the ceremony? I saw the whole thing.
I didn't. I saw 5 minutes.
No,
of it.
I saw 20 minutes of
Okay,
it. There were
okay.
speeches given by the
All right.
Native Americans. It was very moving, and Trump renewed my faith in him. He was very heartfelt.
Okay, with Weinstein's fall, man sinned all. Matt Lauer, the next one. Comments on that, boys?
Well, just it's I don't know. It's a new era where guys are going to have to
Not guys, Democrats.
what?
All of these people are Democrats.
Except, what are you going to say that everything else is like a mirage? That the Roy Moore stuff
Except for Roy Moore, but there's hardly any proof for what he did. All these other people are big liberals that claim to love women.
Well,
And you know why? This is very important that you understand this. It's because when the Democrats let Ted Kennedy off the hook for killing that girl, and when the Democrats let Clinton off for fucking everybody in sight and raping half of them, the Democrats signaled to their people that if you're a Democrat, you can get away with this stuff.
all right, not
So
raping half of them.
it's a Democrat thing.
Not raping half of them. Maybe some.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make
anyway.
is the Democrats have made a signal that if you're a Democrat, you can get away with this.
Yeah,
It's
all
only
right,
the
so-
Republicans that have to be removed from office. In fact, even though there's
All right,
more stuff,
we're running out of tape, so
even
I get
though
to
the-
talk. I get to say some stuff. All right, so yeah, there have been plenty of liberal types that have been sucked into this, but it's not all liberals. And
It's
and-
three. It's 7/8.
But I'm saying it's a different time. Like you'll never have like Joe Biden semi-railroading Anita Hill in the Clarence Thomas hearings again, where they had 3 more witnesses ready to go against Clarence Thomas, and Biden didn't want to do that, so Thomas got through. And yeah, plenty of liberals are saying that under the new set of conditions, like Bill Clinton wouldn't, maybe wouldn't have been allowed to remain in office, or maybe wouldn't have been elected. But,
well, we know that the Democrats would stick by him because they're sticking by Senator Franken
with the various butt
and
touches.
Conyers. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
they're telling Conyers to leave
Yeah,
now.
because he's old, but they're sticking by Franken, and it turns out he's the groper. He's been groping women left and right. There's like 7 women that claim that he groped
Well,
them.
it's 6, and
Oh, it's only 6. Excuse me.
and
So the 6 that we know of, he's a groper. He's a serial groper, but they're sticking by him. Now what it is they will stick by their Democrats because they never gave a damn about women. What they care about is power, like all communists.
all right. So this is a ridiculous overstatement. But anyway, the rules are different now. You can't.
What am I overstating? They're not turning on Franken.
Well, Franken's offenses,
Are groping 6 women?
he butt cupped. If you
And some
believe all
tits.
the women, then
Yeah.
we were supposed to believe all women.
Yes.
He pretended to. I don't want to argue Franken, but it was mostly butt cupping. He would hug somebody and then.
Marvelous.
Yeah, all right.
That's
so,
marvelous. Typical Democrat hypocrites.
all right.
Hypocrites all.
Yeah, all right, fine. I kind of believe you don't have to leave Congress for butt cupping, but
So, Trump tweeted this yesterday, or was it today, in terms of the woman who rode on the bus,
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks, correct. Genuine or disingenuous?
Disingenuous, but I don't know. Well, you know what? What he thinks from moment to moment, he's I don't know. He's squirrely. So yeah, he probably can feel sincere emotion.
I've got to confess, I don't know anything about
He
this.
tweeted. He made a little. I didn't see the video, but he made a little speech and marking the anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to go to the back of the bus.
So Trump is supposed to be such a racist that he would be in favor of keeping blacks from getting to the front of
No,
the
he
bus?
just, Candace just asked if that's heartfelt. And I said, yeah, he can feel that in a heartfelt way.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on.
Okay, the NFL and taking any, there's the jury's still out in terms of whether the ratings are because of the knee or it's just a bad year for them.
There's a bunch of stuff that works against the NFL. I think some people tend to feel bad about, now that we know that every hard hit that somebody takes wrecks their brain a little bit. The craziest thing about the take a knee thing to me is that it turns out that the players never used to come out for the national anthem. But that they were paid to come out by the U.S. Armed Forces as a way of increasing patriotism and making it easier to recruit people for the armed forces. So that this display of patriotism is propelled by dollars, which adds a whole other cynical level to the whole mess.
So are you in favor of them taking a knee?
I'm okay with it. The guy, Kaepernick, before taking a knee, met with a veteran or some veterans organization to find out, how can I register discontent without disrespecting the flag or the national anthem or whatever. And in his consultation, they arrived at taking a knee. And of course, people are saying, oh, well, it's disrespectful, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
You hate this country.
Yeah, it's a paid display of patriotism to help recruit people for the army, which I guess is okay, but it's also...
There has never been a time in my life when I heard the national anthem and I didn't stand up. It's an American custom. If you don't hate the country, it's what you do. But because you're a Democrat, hating the country is not such a problem. Showing disrespect to the U.S. doesn't bother you that much. See how you're manipulated?
See how you tar me with this frickin' brush?
Well,
all right, next thing.
I'm the one that thinks it's wrong to sit for the national anthem. You think you're okay with it. So who's tarring you? You don't respect the country.
See, that's a huge jump to make.
Well, the country is its symbols. The country is not a physical thing. It's a symbol. It's the American way of life, and one of those things is loving the symbols of our country. If you won't stand for the national anthem,
I'll stand for the anthem. I'm not the one taking the knee,
but you don't want other people. You don't care if other people don't, so you don't. It doesn't bother you. They're clearly okay with you.
I'm okay with people registering discontent by taking a knee.
Okay, so are
again,
you okay with them burning flags?
They're allowed to burn flags.
They're allowed to. Are you okay with it?
Yeah, it shouldn't be illegal.
It isn't illegal, but are you okay with it?
It depends on who's burning the flag and for what.
Exactly. Thank you.
He rests his case. What's the next thing?
Jerry Brown.
Jerry Brown, the governor?
Yes.
I don't know. He's been a decent governor. He's been governor for like 20 years now. Lance likes to say that, that if it weren't for Democrats, we wouldn't have to pay such high taxes in California. But I've made a shitload of money in California.
It wasn't because of them.
Yeah, but California's a nice place to live.
They didn't make it that way.
I don't know, Jerry Brown, who's a pretty experienced politician, also a Democrat, though not, a full-on, I don't know, freaking Gavin Newsom Democrat. He's a good administrator as far as I can tell.
Up until now, you Democrats have been able to charge people exorbitant state income taxes. And one of the scary things about this new tax plan that's going to go through is that you will now be penalized if you leave in a state that taxes, that you won't get any break on the state income tax. So it's going to hurt people in New York and California.
It's a little bit of red state revenge on blue state.
It's not red state revenge. What it is you're now not
real estate values may go down because
you're not going to be subsidized for your state overtaxing you. That the Democrats in Sacramento now have a choice. They can keep fucking you, they can keep fucking us in California and New York, or they can stop the state sales tax. But it's going to be a problem for you because of the Democrats, because they should never have been doing this to begin with. Now you're really gonna hurt because you won't get a deduction from the rest of the country.
California is a net
Well,
giver.
I know. We are a net giver along with 10 other states. But this is one of those things where, unfortunately, if you have a state income tax, you will no longer get a break because of this new tax thing. So the Democrats are going to cling to that income tax. They're going to keep that. So they're going to make you suffer. They know this is going through, but they're not going to give you a break. They want that money.
So it might raise my taxes by 1 or 2%.
Okay.
And
blame the Democrats, please. And blame Jerry Brown, who you just admired.
I don't know, was the state in better shape under Schwarzenegger or under Jerry Brown? Jerry Brown replaced Schwarzenegger.
I would say any Republican would be better than Brown, or any Democrat. Yes.
No, actually, the state's on a better economic footing under Brown than it was under Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
And under whatever Gray Davis was. Was he a Republican?
We now raise the minimum wage, and we're suffering unemployment because of it. People are now resorting to using machines in California.
Well, that's going to be every place. You can't blame minimum wage.
Yeah, it's because of minimum wage. They're buying very, very expensive machines because it's worth it because the Democrats raised the minimum wage.
All right, so everything's a Democrat. Next thing.
Okay, we have a little bit of time. The batteries. Can you just talk about the painting, Lance, just real quick in terms of what the
Well, I started this arm, and my goal is to get every single part to be three-dimensional. Now, I have to say that this is a little unusual. Most artists don't try this, don't have as a goal getting the figure to be completely three-dimensional. And so what I found is that, I don't know, it won't work because the light will be different. The light's opposite. But the point is that it's unusual for an artist today to be trying to do that. And I'm still finding parts around the figure where it's flattening out, and I have to deal with that. But by continuously trying to make it 3D, I'm taking the piece to a higher level.
And you do that by shading and highlights?
Yeah, and I want to point out something else. This is kind of unusual for artists living today. Your typical artist today that paints figures is not as concerned about creating a three-dimensional illusion as I am. Not because I'm superior, but because it doesn't seem to be as much of a goal of other realistic figure painters. So that's what's happening, and I started the arm today, as you can see.
Rick, can you give us a little bit of feedback in terms of how you see the painting right now?
I think the painting looks really great. Even in an unfinished state, it's pretty frickin' impressive. I try to, we've been working on, Lance has worked on this painting longer than any painting he's ever done before, I believe.